When you've refereed a certain fighter's fights a couple times and you kind of have an idea of the type of fighter he is, does that kind of, I don't want, sort of influence you a little bit, knowing if you go in and say, oh, I know what he did in previous fights, so I got to keep an eye out for this?
No, as a professional referee, you have to maintain yourself neutral, and remember, it's like a new round, new fight. You can't think about the past, what happened in the past. You got to start like starting at the gate. Starting at the gate, you got to both give them both equal start at the same time. You can't be influenced by the performance of one fight over the other, or whether the guy of Mayweather with his popularity be the undefeated. You can't let that influence you as an official. You have to do your job, call it the way you see it.
When you guys are in the back giving instructions and everything before the fight starts, and say a camp might bring up something like, hey, watch out for this, he's going to do that, does that play any impact, or do you guys just kind of ignore it when they tell you that stuff?
No, going into the dressing room, we already know that 9 out of 10 times, either camp is going to start complaining about something. Right. So we know that going in, we know, so we're prepared for it, and it's not going to influence us. But it's good to know that one side is complaining about something, and you go to the other camp, you tell the other camp the same thing. They have some concerns, and we're aware of it, and you're aware of it, and we're going to make it a clean fight. And forget about the past, we're going to start this one from scratch like if it was a new fight. So I think a good referee knows how to explain the rules and be, like I say, fair but firm.
One last question from me. What was the most difficult fight for you to referee?
I would have to say, going back a little bit, I would have to say John Ruiz versus Kirk Johnson, a heavyweight championship fight of the world. It was a fight that I had to disqualify Kirk Johnson. It was for repeated low blows. When you won a fighter, you start taking points. You start taking points the second time. You tell me, buddy, next time you throw one more low blow, that feels intentional, you're going to be disqualified. And so next punch he threw, and the following round was a low blow, was intentional. I guess he wanted to get disqualified, and I followed suit. I just waved it off, that was it. That was a tough fight. You hate to disqualify a fighter for a foul, for an infraction in a championship fight.
Joe, I lied. I actually have one other question that I just thought of. What would you say has been your best performance as a referee?
My best performance? I'll tell you, that's for the fans to determine that. I don't like to blow to my own horn. All I can say is that the fans have been great, and I was blessed by being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, so I guess that says it all.
It says it all.
My last question. You're retired now, so I hope you can answer this question. In all your years of boxing, who's been the biggest pain in the ass to complain the most about frivolous things in the locker room before a fight?
I never had that problem.
You never had a fighter that before a fight come and watch out for his knees, his elbows, his head, his...
Nah, you get that all the time from...
But not one guy?
Nah, not particular one guy, but you hear all the time, mainly from preliminary fighters, the camps. Now the fighters are mostly, they're mostly quiet most of the time. It's the trainers that try to get into your head, to try to influence the referee. Like I said, if the referee has experience, you listen to it, but pay no attention to it as far as doing what they want you to do.
There you have it, Joe Cortez.